Good morning, this is Beth. Welcome back to my channel at PTSD. Today's video is on a topic that's deeply personal for many people, and that's PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Specifically, we're going to talk about how certain everyday objects can unexpectedly trigger PTSD and what we can do about it. If you or someone else you know struggles with PTSD, this video is for you. Now, as you can see, I have a black mask on today. This is one of my biggest triggers. I'll go into that in just a moment. One of my other triggers seems to be my laptop. Also, one of my other triggers is when it's raining, I have issues walking. And one of my other triggers is other things that I'll go over with you in just a few minutes. Now, PTSD is often associated with triggers, like I just went over. These can be sounds, smells, sights, or even specific objects that remind us of traumatic experiences. I have to take this mask off, I can't breathe. What's important to understand is these triggers are deeply personal and can vary greatly from one person to another. It can change from you to me to whatever. Different triggers for different people. Now, if you were in the military, when you hear fireworks or gunshots, it probably triggers something totally different than it does with me. Now, let's talk about these triggers. When we experience trauma, our brain stores the memory in a way that's different from ordinary memories. Now, I got robbed at a grocery store back in the 1980s with men wearing black masks. So when coronavirus hit, and people were wearing black masks, it triggered me and started my PTSD. 30 years later, I walked into the bank that I was working at. I've gone over this before, but a lot of the women in there have black masks on. I took a look at all of them and I ran out the door because it triggered my PTSD. When it rains, I fell down walking a few times when I lived in Wales. So now whenever it gets wet outside, I have problems walking and I start walking very slowly or I get very shaky and my anxiety kicks in. I've talked to therapists about it. There's nothing they can do. I just have to go into my psychic and try to talk myself out of it. If I'm not going through an anxiety part or if I'm not going through anything major, most of the time I can deal with it. But if I have anxiety going on or any kind of stress or depression, I can't deal with it. In the last 4 or 5 months, I've gotten really stressed out and anxious and everything. So my walking's gotten a little in between. I have good days, I have bad days. Thank God it hasn't rained because that probably would have done me in. But those are how I deal with it. The black mask, nowadays I'm a little bit better. There aren't as many around, there are some. Usually if it's something I'm talking one-on-one with them, unless they have a cold or a real reason to wear it, I ask them nicely to please take the mask off because I can't deal with it. And I don't want to have a panic attack just because they feel they need to wear them. Now that's entirely up to you if you want to wear them or not, but hey. As far as my laptop, this is a really weird one. I haven't figured it out yet. When I started doing these videos over, or just started up again, I went and sat down to start doing the video, editing it, and something triggered it, and I started not being able to look at my laptop or do anything. Now, from what I can figure out, it might have to do with the person that used to help me do these videos and the fact that he's not here and I was relaying one to the other, and that caused me not to deal with it. So talking to myself, dealing with it, and trying to figure out what the trigger was, I've gotten a lot better. It takes a couple deep breaths, but I do deal with it, and that's how you have to deal with your PTSD. You have to find ways to deal with it, whether it's talking to yourself, talking to your friend, talking to a therapist, whatever it takes. I actually have a stuffed animal that looks like my shirt. And I know I'm a little old for stuffed animals, but it's like my therapy animal. I talk to it, I cuddle it, and it actually helps. It soothes me down, it makes me feel better, and it relates to the life around me and people around me. So that's why I've got the shirt on today to help me deal with this as well. Now, there is hope. Like I said, Recognizing your triggers is a powerful first step. Once you identify what that sets off your PTSD, you can work on it. Strategies to cope with your encounters these trigger. Grounding techniques, mindfulness, and therapy are all effective ways to manage the intense reactions. Now, I have friends who have been in the military that I know they have PTSD. I've talked to them and asked them how they deal with it. They didn't really want to go into it with me, but I know that they do have techniques. A lot of them still go shooting, so they still hear the gunshots, but there might be something else that triggers it. Fireworks. One of my friends told me that when he walks into a room that's completely white, like this room is, minus my peace signs behind me, that triggers his PTSD. The brightness of it, the lights of it. Now, saying that, when I went back to work one day before I retired, I walked into where I worked, and they had painted everything in the branch where I worked white with yellow chairs. And I didn't know that had to do with PTSD, but talking to my friend, I realized it does. So when you're in a bright room and you do have PTSD, it can trigger it. It's just weird. You never know what's going to trigger it. I can be driving down the street and have a panic attack. You never know what's causing it, why you're getting it, but you just have to deal with it. Now remember, PTSD doesn't define you. It's a part of your story, but with support and the right tools, you can take control of your life. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment, and also share it. You never know who else might need it. Again, please try to subscribe to my videos. My goal for me is to hit 30 subscribers by September 15th. And, just keep passing it on. Please make comments. I want to know how I'm doing, what else you might need from me, and just see what we can do for each other. Thank you again. This is Beth, the PTSD Penguin, and have a great day.